to my second channel where I take you along the journey of starting my own clothing line. It has been quite a while since I have filmed, and that's because if you guys are from my main channel, which I'm pretty sure all of you are, you'd know that I had surgery. So I've been resting and recovering, just kind of taking some time for myself. But I am back and I'm trying to get into the groove of filming again and working, obviously. So while I was taking my break, and as you know from the title of this video, I have finished my logo, which is really exciting. So I think I'll reveal the logo a little bit later in the video. If you guys don't care about any of this stuff, you can just skip to the logo portion. But I'm going to be talking about how I reached out to graphic designers first. So if any of you are starting your own business and need a logo as well, this could be helpful for you. So the first way that I reached out to graphic designers was through Instagram. So literally just searching like graphic designer, logo designer in the Instagram search bar is what I did. And a lot of people came up, and I did DM a lot of companies and people who are graphic designers. And I also used their contact page, email. I did a lot of outreach. Like I probably reached out to over 20 graphic designers. And I will say that a lot of the Instagram graphic designers are more expensive. And that could be for a great reason. Like perhaps their work is like absolutely incredible and they're giving you a whole amazing package. But I didn't want to spend all this money for my logo and stuff, because a logo is something that, although is very important and is a staple for your brand, it will likely be changed eventually, especially for me because I'm just starting out. I don't really know what I want yet, right? So not like I'm like Nike, like the Nike swoosh is recognized everywhere, whereas I don't even know what I fully want yet, but I do need a logo initially, right? So I didn't want to spend like over $1,000 on a logo. Like that was way too much for me as a small business. Like I didn't want that. And also something to watch out for is a lot of these Instagram like companies, or like when they have their packages, they do a lot of like deals or whatever, right? So like, oh, we'll make your logo for you, but also included in this $500 price is you get like 3 Instagram stories and 2 Instagram posts and blah, blah, blah. Which if you have absolutely zero social media experience, then that could be really great for you because that could really help you and kind of create a brand. But for me, who's constantly on social media and that's my job, I was like, I don't need that. Like that's not helpful for me. And that's also something I can learn. Like if I want to learn how to make my Instagram stories more cohesive and like, you know, make them more aesthetic, I can easily learn how to do that from a few TikTok videos explaining how to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to pay the extra $400, $300, whatever it is for that. So that's something to just watch out for, I would say. Like I'm not saying these people are scamming you or anything at all. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying know what you're paying for. Like understand that, because don't just go and pay $600 for a logo and a package and like think that that's like the best you're gonna get type of thing, because it's not. Like I thought that was kind of the average, was $500 for a logo package. That's what you would get. And then if you want full branding, that would be more close to $1,000. At least that's what I gathered from the outreach that I was doing. Maybe I was just contacting really expensive companies. I don't know. But that's what happened. So that was the first place where I reached out to graphic designers, was through Instagram pages. Now the second place you can always look at is LinkedIn. This one wasn't so helpful for me, but I did reach out to a couple of graphic designers on LinkedIn, and honestly I just never heard back from them, which is completely fine. They're probably busy. But you could also look at LinkedIn if you want, because that's like a business social media platform, you know? So you've got Instagram, you've got LinkedIn. You can also just do Google searches. Like that's how I found not like my lawyers, but when I was meeting with lawyers, that's how I found them. And one of the lawyers that I actually did meet with, that I talked to you guys about, who stayed on the phone with me for an hour, When I actually get in touch with manufacturers and start working with them, I'm going to have him draft up my contracts because I really liked working with him. Like, he was very understanding and stuff like that. So that's also a way that you can find graphic designers, is just Google it, logo designers, all that. Now, you don't necessarily need to hire a logo designer or graphic designer. You can do it yourself if you really want to. However, I would have loved to take the time to take a few courses and learn how to do graphic design. I would have absolutely loved that. However, I don't have the time, which is quite unfortunate because I love being creative and I love art, and I think I would have really enjoyed that. But as a full-time university student, I can't have any more on my plate than I already do. But if you do have some time, or you want to start your business up in the summer when you've got some more time, I would totally recommend taking a graphic design class, because you can find some that are like only a month long, and then you know how to make your own logos and stuff, and you can do all your graphics. So that's also an option as well. Another place that you can also find logo designers is through Etsy. I did look here and I did find a couple that I liked, but I just didn't go this route. However, I would recommend Etsy. There are a ton of talented logo designers, graphic designers on there as well, and they are cheaper than Instagram too, I would say, as well. Now, where I found the person who actually designed my logo was on Fiverr. So I actually had never heard of Fiverr, but my dad told me about it, and it's an app that you can download. I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. Okay, so Fiverr is an app that you can download, and basically it's for freelance workers. It's for like independent contractors. So let's say you, in the summer, you learned how to do graphic design, and you're like, you know what? I know how to do graphic design. I could totally help out someone like Ocean who needs a logo but doesn't have the time to learn how to do graphic design. You could sign up on Fiverr and make an account, and then you can charge for your work. You could charge, hey, it's going to be $50 for a logo. And obviously on Fiverr, it's much cheaper because these people are freelance artists and freelance workers, independent contractors, right? So it is a lot cheaper. So I went through Fiverr. There's a ton, like literally thousands of people on there. So it took a lot of time going through, and I narrowed it down to like 5 logo designers that I really liked. I really liked their work. I liked their aesthetic, and I felt that it matched what I wanted, what I envisioned for my brand. And so I kind of did. So once I narrowed that down, then you look at their accounts individually. So what I noticed is that a lot of them only had certain amount of revisions, right? So what revisions are is basically like, let's say they make you a logo, right? And you're like, actually, I don't like this color. Can we make this font a little bit thinner? Can we add some more flowers here? Whatever it is, that is a revision, right? So a lot of these people only had like 3 revisions, which I didn't like because I am a very picky person. And I know that if someone sends me a logo, I am going to have a bunch of critiques, and I'm going to want to make a bunch of changes, right? Which is really annoying. I do understand that that's very frustrating. But if I'm paying for a logo, I want to make sure that I have unlimited revisions so that I can work with the logo designer for some time, for a couple weeks, and make sure it's exactly how I want. So out of the 5 that I liked, there was only 1 person who had limited revisions, and they have like 4.95 star reviews, like a ton of reviews. I liked the logos that they did, all this stuff. So I reached out to them and I paid for the package. And in the package, I got my logo for my tags, my logo with the like actual graphic that I can use on the website, and my YouTube banner. So those are the 3 things that I paid for. And that came to $100 US, which is way cheaper than any of the other logo designers I was looking at before. I mean, like $500, $1,000. Could you imagine if I went with one of those? Like, so much money. So I paid $100 US, which I think is like 120 Canadian, not too bad at all. And I love the logo designer that I picked because he is so understanding, and anytime I make a revision, he is very quick with changing it, and he hears me out. Like, he listens to everything that I have to say. And something that I will say when you do have your own critiques is I would recommend I have an iPad, so I just download the picture and then I draw on it, so I can say like, hey, I want this over here and I want this here and blah, 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 because that's a bit easier for them to understand. But if you don't have an iPad and you can't do that, maybe just print out the logo that they send you and then draw on it and show kind of what you want different. So I worked with him for 2-3 weeks now, and I'm still working with him because the only thing that I don't have complete at this time that I'm filming this video is my YouTube banner. And that's because I want the watercolor thing, which I don't think he's done a lot of watercolor stuff how I want it, so I think he's just fixing that up a bit. And I totally, like, if that takes him some more time to do the watercolor, that's totally fine. Like, the YouTube banner isn't a huge deal for me. What's important is that I actually have my logo and my tags done so that when I reach out to manufacturers, I can get my tags printed so I can have them on the clothes, obviously. That seems pretty important. And then I can also have my logo for my website. So I will put up on the screen here my logos. So first I'll put up the tag one, which is just my Oceanna.the.label. It's very simple. And it's like, it's just the writing. Like, this is what you would see on the tag, like, you know, Nike or whatever it is. I don't know why I keep using Nike as an example, but it's just like a brand that I feel like everyone knows. So that's just going to be on the little paper tags. And then for my actual logo, which I will be probably using for like my website, maybe my icons on social media, which it'll also be included in the YouTube banner with the watercolor stuff, is right here. And this logo took a lot of time to complete because it started out way different. Like, now it's an oval shape and it started out as a circle shape. It didn't have any of the shells. I originally started with flowers and vines because that's what I wanted, but then I changed my mind. So it was a whole process. And that's why, if you don't know what you want, I would definitely recommend picking someone who offers unlimited revisions, because that's going to save you a lot of time and money. Because if you don't like it still after the revisions, you're going to have to pay again, which sucks. So yeah, those are my logos. I hope you guys like them because I really like them. So a little bit behind the logos, I guess I could just say, is originally, if you follow me on Instagram, my clothing line on Instagram, I wanted my logos to be pink and green theme with flowers and vines. That's what I wanted, right? And then what I realized was that that is not something that should be included in my logo. That is the aesthetic that I want for my brand, is the wildflower type of aesthetic and that like beachy and natural, like all those types of vibes, like cottagecore and like light academia, like academia, I think that's what it's called. Like, all of those are aesthetics that I can't represent in my logo. And also, I don't want my logo to be too busy, right? So what I realized was that's not the way to go. So that's why my actual like main logo is just the Oceanna, the label with the cursive and then the capital letters. And then my logo with the, you know, oval and the shells and that stuff, that is something that's going to go on the website. Or if I want to make like crew necks and stuff for my clothing brand, I can use that. And that's really, really pretty. I think that that would look so cute on a crew neck, like embroidered. So adorable, like a baby blue crew neck embroidered. Oh, adorable, right? And the reason that I also changed it from flowers to shells is because oceans.asmr, like, that's who I am. That's how people know me, right? And people will eventually want merch. So I think that having my clothing brand with the shells, and then oceans.asmr, I'll obviously want to do shells for my merch because my little seashells, it goes hand in hand. It works better together, right? So that's kind of why I did that. And it was honestly a huge learning process for me, and it took a lot of time because I had to figure out what a logo really was versus like trademarks and stuff like that. Like, it was a lot of research, and I still don't know a whole lot about it. But what I figured out was that having all these pretty flowers and vines and all this stuff that I wanted for my logo is something that I can recreate in photo shoots and do with props and things, rather than having that all in the logo and making it too busy and less distinguishable. That's kind of all about my logo, how I did my outreach, how I found my graphic designer that I really like, and how I came about with my logo. And obviously, like I said, it'll probably change at some point. I mean, that's just kind of usually the way it goes. Like, usually when you launch, you do eventually rebrand. That's just kind of something that happens based on, you know, your audience, your market, all of that stuff. That's just something that I've learned. So I didn't want to focus too much on the logo, like I said, and spend thousands of dollars, because that didn't seem smart to me. But if that's what you want to do, like, totally do that. Like, that's completely up to you. I'm just saying, for me, it didn't make sense for me. And I'm totally not bashing anyone who charges a high price or anything like that. Like, that's not what I'm saying at all. Just know what you're paying for and know what you want as a business owner. Because I took the time to think about that, and I got exactly what I wanted for right now, which I'm happy with. And then just a couple little quick updates is, while I was on bed rest and recovering from my surgery, I was trying to do a few designs here and there, and I still have a few more items to finish, but currently I have designed, I think I've designed two bikinis, like 2 bathing suits, and I'm pretty sure I've designed 1 top, 1 dress, and a pair of pants. So I think, what was that, 5 things? Yeah. However, I have designed like over 10 items, but I keep changing my mind, and I'm like, oh, that's not good enough. Like, I don't like that anymore, like all this stuff. So that's something that I am struggling with, is having the confidence in my designs. So, I mean, those 5 items that I probably have, maybe only 1 of them will actually make it to manufacturing. But anyways, I have been trying to design, and I did actually reach out to the top manufacturers that I researched. I have a whole video on that if you are interested, like manufacturing outreach, all that stuff. And unfortunately, none of them have replied to me, so I'm gonna have to either reach out again or contact new manufacturers. And I reached out to about 5, all ethical, all like green certified fabric suppliers, like all that stuff. None of them replied back to me. And I mean, it's a little bit unfortunate. It's a little bit discouraging. I'm not too sure why. It could be just because of, you know, the panoramic and everything. Or it could just be because I'm a really small business. I'm not too sure. So I will have to reach out to manufacturers again and do more of that. But that's just a little bump in the road. So I will just have to get going on my designs and then do some more outreach. That's all for this video. I will see you guys later on, probably regarding designs or something or other. But yeah, I love you all so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.